All right, today we're going to dig into something that's, believe it or not, a super relevant guide for navigating our crazy modern world of information. And the wild part, it comes from a thinker way back in the 13th century. Let's get into the Aquinas Guide to Truth.
Okay, let's just jump right in with a huge question. Think about this. Can something be true even if literally no one believes it? Like, at all? Does truth need a crowd to be real? Or does it just exist on its own? It's a big one, so let's keep that in the back of our minds.
I mean, let's be real, right? We are living in some seriously complicated times. Every single day, you and I are just swimming in this massive ocean of information. And a whole lot of it, it's just not right. We're dodging misinformation, propaganda, all these half-truths that are just built to suck us in.
And here's the thing. The fallout from all this, it's serious. I mean, really serious. When it gets this hard just to figure out what's real, public trust just starts to crumble. You see it everywhere, right? Trust in institutions, in the media, heck, even trust in each other. It all starts to break down. And suddenly we're all kind of standing on shaky ground.
So this whole situation kind of forces us into a corner, and it brings up a huge conflict. Is truth just what's popular, whatever most people happen to agree on at the moment? Or is it something way more solid, something that's tied to actual reality, whether we like it or not? That question, right there, is really the heart of the whole problem.
So to figure out a path forward, we're actually going to do something a little counterintuitive. We're going to look back, like way back, to a totally unexpected guide from the 13th century, who, believe it or not, was thinking really deeply about these exact same questions.
So who is this guy? His name is St. Thomas Aquinas, and he wore a lot of hats. He was a Dominican friar, a philosopher who was absolutely groundbreaking for his time, a brilliant theologian, and a university professor. Now get this, he was doing all this over 800 years ago, but his ideas, especially about truth and how we communicate, they're still so powerful today.
And he had a pretty interesting backstory. As a student, Aquinas was, he was a big guy and really quiet. So his classmates, you know how kids can be, they nicknamed him the dumb ox. But his teacher, a guy named Albertus Magnus, he saw what was really going on. He saw the genius under the surface. And he famously predicted, this dumb ox will one day bellow so loudly that his voice will be heard throughout the world. And wow, was he ever right about that.
And that incredibly powerful voice he found, it didn't just give the world a bunch of arguments. Nope. What it really gave us was a whole ethical framework, a roadmap, really, for how to think about truth, how to persuade people, and the incredible importance of the language we use.
Okay, and this right here is the absolute key. For Aquinas, truth isn't subjective, it's objective. It's anchored in reality, not just what someone thinks or feels. And that brings us right back to that question we started with. His answer, a resounding yes. Something can absolutely be true even if nobody believes it. Why? Simple. Because truth doesn't need us, it just needs to match up with reality.
So this whole idea creates a really clear choice, like a fork in the road. On one path, you've got ethical persuasion. That's all about building bridges, using truth, respecting the other person. But then there's the other path, manipulation. That's about twisting the truth for your own benefit, and all that does is create division and destroy trust. For Aquinas, this wasn't just some academic choice. It was a bright red moral line in the sand.
Why does this matter so much? Because words have immense power. I mean, they're not just noises we make, right? They are tools. You can use them to build understanding, to reveal something true and important, or you can use them to lead people down a totally different path. And when you have that kind of power, a huge moral responsibility comes right along with it.
Now, the cool thing about Aquinas is that he didn't just talk the talk, he really walked the walk. He didn't just have these ideas, he actually built a whole system, a very specific structured method for having honest debates and actually getting to the bottom of things.
He called it the scholastic method, and honestly, it's a masterclass in how to think clearly. The process is just brilliant. Here's how it works. Step 1. You actually present the strongest possible arguments against your own case. Yeah, you heard me right. You start with the other side. Then, step 2, you'll bring in a statement from an authority. Step 3 is where you give your main answer, your own position. And finally, and this is key, you go back and respond to every single one of those initial objections you brought up at the start.
Just stop and think about what that does. It's psychologically genius. First off, it shows incredible respect for the other side and builds massive credibility, because you've proven you take their concerns seriously right from the get-go.
And second, it makes your own argument so much stronger because you're forced to deal with its weakest spots head-on. It completely changes the game from trying to win a debate to working together to find the truth.
Okay, so a debate method from the 13th century. You might be thinking, why on earth should I care about that today? Well, here's why. Because the principles behind it are precisely, exactly what we need to get through the mess of our modern information crisis.
Just think about where we could use this. For journalists, it's a call to present multiple sides of a story and to do it fairly. For people in media ethics, it's like a moral compass, always pointing you towards the truth and away from the temptation of misinformation. And for you and me, in our own arguments and debates, it's a blueprint for having conversations that actually go somewhere instead of just being shouting matches.
So, let's tie this all together. If you could bring Aquinas here right now and ask him how to deal with all the misinformation and propaganda we face, I think his answer would be pretty simple and very direct. He'd tell us we need to get back to three things: a real commitment to objective truth, a deep sense of personal integrity in how we talk to each other, and a genuine feeling of moral responsibility for the words we put out into the world.
And that really leaves us with one last big question. And this one isn't for journalists or politicians. It's for every single one of us. In a world where we have endless information at our fingertips, where anyone with a phone can be a publisher, what is our personal responsibility to the truth? What is my responsibility? Now that's something worth chewing on.